When people say a vegetarian diet is healthy, I hear two very different promises. One is a thoughtful pattern with beans, soy, grains, nuts, dairy, or eggs if someone eats them. The other is pasta, fries, and a multivitamin apology. So, what is the honest version? Can a vegetarian plate meet needs, or is it always one missed nutrient away from trouble?
The honest version starts with physiology, not identity. Protein is digested into amino acids, absorbed through the small intestine, and rebuilt into muscle, enzymes, immune proteins, and transport molecules. Eggs and dairy are complete protein sources for lacto-vegetarians. Soy is unusually strong among plant proteins. Legumes, grains, nuts, and seeds can also cover needs when they show up across the day. The old phrase, complete protein, creates unnecessary drama. The body does need indispensable amino acids, but a meal does not have to be a perfect puzzle every single time. A practical vegetarian day might use yogurt at breakfast, lentils at lunch, tofu at dinner, and seeds as a snack. That pattern supplies both total protein and a broader amino acid mix.
That makes it less scary, but how would someone know they are not underdoing it? If a person swaps chicken for a tiny scoop of beans and calls it equivalent, that feels mathematically off. What are the food source clues that the plate is actually protein center rather than just meat-free?
Exactly. The plate needs an anchor, not just absence of meat. In practice, that means a recognizable serving of lentils, beans, chickpeas, tofu, tempeh, eggs, dairy, nuts, or seeds, plus grains and vegetables. The nutrition facts label helps when products vary. A soy milk may contain meaningful protein, while some almond beverages contain very little. Same shelf, different physiology.
Protein I can picture. Iron is where viewers get nervous, especially women who already run low, or anyone who feels tired and blames the diet. Since vegetarian iron is mostly non-heme iron, what actually changes in the body? Is the issue the amount of iron on the plate, or how much gets through the intestinal wall?
It is both, but absorption is the clever part. Non-heme iron from beans, lentils, tofu, spinach, grains, nuts, and seeds enters through regulated transporters in the small intestine. Vitamin C in the same meal can improve absorption, so lentils with peppers or citrus make sense. Tea or coffee with the meal can reduce absorption for some people, so timing can matter.
So if someone is exhausted, has heavy periods, is pregnant, is feeding a child, or has a history of anemia, this is not a vibes-only experiment, right? At what point should they stop optimizing lentils and get labs or clinician help instead of just adding more supplements?
Right. And on benefits, the strongest responsible claim is not that vegetarian eating magically fixes metabolism. Recent randomized evidence in people with overweight or obesity found little to no difference for many outcomes compared with omnivorous diets, though plant-based patterns may slightly reduce LDL cholesterol and, with longer interventions, may improve BMI or HbA1c with low certainty. Quality and duration matter. A small 2026 fibromyalgia trial is interesting but should not be oversold. 22 women followed either a vegan Mediterranean diet or a traditional Mediterranean diet for 6 weeks. The vegan Mediterranean group had greater LDL and triglyceride reductions, and one pain item improved. That is promising for a specific short-term context, not proof that every vegetarian diet treats chronic pain.
Inflammation claims are everywhere. I saw one analysis saying plant-based patterns may lower CRP, but another vegetarian diet analysis did not find a significant CRP change. How should a viewer interpret that without cherry-picking whichever headline matches their grocery cart?
That is the right skepticism. One plant-based meta-analysis found lower CRP, but with high heterogeneity and low certainty. Another focused on vegetarian randomized trials and found no significant CRP effect. The safe compression is inflammation biomarkers may improve in some plant-forward contexts, but they are not guaranteed, and they do not automatically translate into fewer clinical events for every person.
Let's name the watch list clearly. If someone is vegetarian but not vegan, They may still get B12 from dairy or eggs, but not always enough depending on intake. What else belongs on the deliberate list? And which life stages make a casual approach riskier?
The same quality issue appears in cancer research. Prospective studies suggest vegetarian diets are associated with lower total cancer incidence and some site-specific risks, but observational data can be confounded by BMI and lifestyle. Another review found healthful plant-based indices were linked to lower breast, colorectal, and liver cancer risk, while unhealthful plant-based patterns were not the same story. Shortcuts are where dose matters. Protein powder can be useful if it replaces a missing anchor, but it does not fix a low-variety diet. Iron pills should usually follow a clear reason, because excess iron is not a wellness upgrade. Seaweed iodine is unpredictable in thyroid disease, pregnancy, kidney disease, medication use, or an upcoming procedure should move the decision into clinician territory. The best self-test is boring and useful. For 4 to 12 weeks, build repeatable meals with a protein anchor, iron-aware pairings, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, or seeds, and appropriate fortified foods. Then judge the right outcome. Energy and satiety day-to-day, training recovery if relevant, LDL or HbA1c if those were targets, and ferritin or B12 only when testing is indicated.